Juha and Johanna Mikkola, they built Wyncode from scratch, Miami's first coding school. They were doing Miami Tech before Miami Tech was a thing that anyone ever said seriously. When they sold to BrainStation in 2021, Blackstone cited Wyncode as a key hiring resource for the city. They saw Miami early and they were right.
DocPod presents Health with Dr. Hal.
Welcome, guys, to DocPod and Health with Dr. Hal. Super honored to have you guys here, and even more honored to call you guys friends and neighbors.
Yay! We're so excited to be here.
Thanks for having us. This is awesome.
So I wanted to kind of jump into
jokes.
your origin stories. It's always cool to sort of hear from like the founder's mouth, right? Where you guys came from, how you ended up in Miami. And then I want to talk about this dynamic that you have as this power couple in Miami.
Take it away.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm kicking it off. So the Wyncode story, I mean, you said it great in the intro. It was really early for Miami Tech. And I think we definitely took a risk.
2014.
But it felt like there was something special already going on in the city. And my background had been very entrepreneurial. Joe's family background's very entrepreneurial also. We always had a dream of building something. And I had been building a sporting goods company. With the health angle, maybe something we'll get into, but I'd built that in Canada for many years and just felt like it was time for a change. And technology had always been a huge part of that business as well. And we just wanted to get more into that world. And I attended a coding school in Canada. That was what really like kicked it off and gave the concept and the idea. We decided let's launch this somewhere where we didn't see anybody doing it yet. And we thought there was a great opportunity. And there were a few signals in Miami that were really important. Like Knight Foundation was already doubling down on tech here. We could see things happening with Endeavor Miami. Emerge America has just launched like actually a couple of days after our first cohort got going. So there were like signs, but it was really early. And we're just really happy that it worked out the way that it did.
Wait, tell me, I've never heard that origin story before about your first company. So talk a little bit more about that and how that relates to health, really.
Yeah, totally. So my first company was a sport called Floorball, which is a type of indoor hockey that's huge in the Nordics and Switzerland. Pro players, it's Olympic recognized. You can actually make a career playing this sport, but think of it as like kind of a cross between like some of the soccer rules, but like with indoor hockey sticks, you don't need a lot of equipment, really accessible, inclusive way of playing hockey. And it was a sport I grew up playing in Finland. So I thought, why don't North Americans know about this game? I'm like, how hard could this be? I'm going to become the importer for this gear.
Pioneer of floorball.
I'll be the next Nike. How hard could this possibly be, right? And then fast forward like 5 years, I mean, started the business literally in our apartment during college and drove to over 1,000 schools teaching teachers how to play this sport in my minivan. And we got Hockey Canada on board, USA Hockey, a bunch of people. And at the end, I mean, we had over 100 retailers selling the gear. Joe and I, it was our first experience working together. We ran the biggest floorball tournament outside of Europe at Maple Leaf Gardens, like this historic hockey building in Toronto. And games were televised. I mean, it was really cool. We started from nothing.
1,000 players.
But it was a hard journey.
I had no idea you guys pulled that off first. So I thought, you had a couple of exits under your belt, but I didn't realize that was the first one.
That was the
Joe,
first one.
That's incredible. Joe, you're a little bit of an enigma. Every time I see you, you always have headphones on. You're always running in the neighborhood. Usually have like a weighted vest on. I know you have 2 kids at home that are, a lot of energy. And then your third kid with Juha, and that's a lot of energy also to keep up with. The fitness, what does it actually do for you mentally?
Yeah. So I think throughout our entire journey, I mean, Juha and I also have origin stories as individuals that are deeply rooted in sports. And so I think we've always been active throughout our lives, but fitness is the thing that keeps us like mentally with it. It maintains sanity. It brings back sanity. It gives like space to think. We also love to work out together. So sometimes when we love to do runs and workouts at those times, basically we're talking about business all the time. So fitness is also a place sometimes to like massage some of those ideas. And yes, love our neighborhood, love running around. And I do just want to give a quick shout out to Marie Berry, who's the founder of Evo, which is the weighted vests. Best ones out there. Got to get one. And that's why you noticed it, because it looks so good, right? So legit.
Yeah. I think all 3 of us are really good at the plug. It's just sliding that in there. Did you guys freeze? Oh, you guys froze for a second. No, I said that, I think it's hilarious that all three of us are really good at plugs.
Oh,
Pivoting
yeah.
a little bit to what you guys have also built down here in Florida, which is really important to me, the F1 community. And you sort of saw the F1 community come together before Drive to Survive was like a thing down here, and made it more popular, and how F1 became almost like a fashion event way before all of that. You built this F1 community that was essentially just a WhatsApp chat to start. And then it evolved into some of our closest friends, and we hang out almost, we talk almost every day and hang out every week at least. And it's really turned into super elite events at incredible places with members that are just at some of the pinnacle of their careers. I mean, just this weekend, the storage space that we were at, or the man cave that we were at, was $50 million worth of cars that belonged to one guy. And he's like, well, I've got 4 other warehouses filled just like this. And it was, and he's just a humble guy from New York. So it's been really, really cool. Talk a little bit about that, how that started, how it's evolved.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, first of all, South Florida is a crazy place that there's so many of these warehouses just filled with incredible cars. But I always grew up with a huge passion for cars. My dad was a race car driver. So even though he always told me and my brother, he's like, get a real career, like make sure you don't follow this like as a professional path. I think for Joe, she saw me just always having this passion. You actually grew up watching F1 also with your dad. And in Finland, racing is everything. I mean, we grew up in the era of Mika Häkkinen driving amazing and beating Schumacher, and having these great moments, and my dad in rally and seeing these rally drivers do so well. So it's always been a real point of national pride. And I think when I moved to Miami, I was really surprised that there really wasn't a community around F1, even though it's such a global international city. So there were a lot of people from countries where F1 was popular, but there wasn't really anything local. This was way before anybody could even dream of a race being here. And then we started as a WhatsApp group of just trying to get together for watch parties and sharing the passion with people. And that's where BOXBOX started from. And then it's developed into this chat group that's over 400, founders and builders in Miami now. And then we have our BOXBOX members club, which you talked about, where we do really amazing events that you're such a key member of and supporter and driver of that process too. So it's really cool. And in the meantime, we've seen Miami get an F1 race. We've seen Drive to Survive. So all of a sudden, I was the guy who had nobody to talk to F1 about. And now every party and event I go to, people are like, there's the F1 guy, like, let's ask him questions about what happened. So for me personally, it's been incredible. And that's also drove me into the content stuff with BOXBOX recently, where it's been really cool to talk about and share some of the stories from F1 that, I grew up around. And it's just such a cool space to be in right now. So much excitement.
But I will add, when he says those early watch party days, what he really means by watch party is everyone coming to our living room and eating breakfast at our house to watch the latest F1 race. And
or watching 2 a.m. races.
Yeah,
we
or
did some
2
of those
a.m. races at our
yeah.
place. But I do love that, you can't fake that kind of authenticity and genuine people who connect and have that common shared interest. And it's cool. It's been really cool to see that from the WhatsApp, the living room watch parties at all hours. It has maintained that kind of genuine vibe, and with amazing people like yourself, Hal, and the many people who we know are in that community. And that's been a really beautiful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing to be a part of that community. And it's great to share a real passion for cars and racing.
Something I love about both of you is how humble you both are. When when Juha's talking about, and that's how I sort of pivoted into the content thing. You've got almost 2 million views in the last couple of weeks, and you just started posting videos. So I don't think it's just a little content creation. I mean, you're really turning into the F1 Miami guy.
Well, I appreciate it. I kind of, people were calling me the F1 Miami guy, so I guess Instagram's just agreeing with it. But yeah, it's been under 3 weeks, so we just hit 2 million views on the videos. So it's been super fun. I just trying to do one a day and just keep with it. So thanks to the whole community for supporting it so much. It's been really fun for me.
It comes across, supernatural, right? You're talking about something that you love, and we see it, and then you're reaching out to this huge community that wants to hear that stuff, and we're like, it resonates, it really does, and the content's good. So it's not just getting viral for silly stuff. It's actual, real content that people want to watch, and I think that's what's missing out there with a lot of the content. Memes are great, funny stuff is great, but you want to hear information, and I think that's what you're putting out. That's super important. Also, let's make a little bit of a correction. Your dad was not just a race car driver. He was the 1983 World Rally champion. driving the Audi Quattro. And then another one of the most exclusive events I've ever been to was when you got to sign a model car out of a $4 million model car collection, where the guy had met your dad at a race and wanted you to sign for him. Yeah, that was so yeah, I just wanted to make those couple of corrections there. Pivoting to the company that you guys built and sold, I know building a company, it's a high stretch of like in long stretch of high stress. How did you guys manage that with your marriage, right? Because you guys are co-CEOs of pretty much everything that you do. And you know, Marion and I, we're both doctors. We're owners in our company as well, but she's got her own academic practice, so she doesn't see the day-to-day that I do. And then, you know, when I come home, I tell her about it, but it's a little bit more difficult to sort of understand what the day-to-day of an entrepreneur is, right? How do you guys manage that? How do you keep that away from your marriage, and how does that actually help your marriage?
Should I start?
Yeah, you start. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would say how it's a part of our marriage. I think we're really lucky in that Juha and I both just like, we love business. We love talking about it. We love teams. We love product. Everything that goes into like launching, building, scaling, maintaining a business. They're things that we genuinely enjoy talking about. It's the thing that I'm passionate about reading about. And so we're really lucky that we have that shared interest combined with complementary skill sets. So meaning when we work together, while we are very ingrained and communicating all the time and talking, we are focused on different parts of the business. So we kind of like have our lanes within our team, and that's been really helpful so that we could leverage each other's like superpower, the things that we're the most excited about in a business. And so we've just been lucky that the ingredients we have, the genuine like interests we have, like connected really well. And as a result, we, you know, for me, there is no other way. Like there was a short period of time after we sold where I didn't work with Juha, and it became evident fairly quickly that I needed to find a way to get back to my like number one business partner. And so, you know, that's when I feel like I'm at my best. Also, business it's tough. Like it's all about like going through the fire together. And because we're going through the fire together when the fires are on, it's great because at home, we truly understand where we're like each other are coming from, and we can strategize, or we can decide together, hey, we need to take a break from it. So I think that's been really great. And then fitness plays into all of this, by the way. I really meant it when I said earlier, we do use fitness as a way to workshop. Sometimes it's a total break, and sometimes we're actually like out for a run, like workshopping something that needs to get developed, executed, launched, whatever it may be. And I really enjoy those moments too.
For sure. And we were kind of thinking back on this, like in the sauna yesterday in true Finnish fashion about like getting ready for the podcast today. And there were a couple of things, like, especially in the early days, and this was a lot easier before kids, but like we used to do a really long walk in our neighborhood when we were living like in the Miami Shores area every single day. So it was like a way to debrief after the day and just talk through everything we missed, you know, when things were really busy or we were running different parts of the team, like it was a chance to get aligned. So that really worked for us. That was a really great thing to do. Thing that didn't work for us that somebody suggested for us was like, don't talk about work when you get home. So like at, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, whenever you get home, turn off your phone, don't talk about work, and, just kind of sandbox, make that about your personal life. And we tried it for a week and like we were miserable. Like all we wanted to do was like talk about, it's not like we talk about work all the time, but when it comes up, we want to deal with it and figure it out so we can move on to something else. And then maybe we're not talking about work. So that was actually like good advice maybe for some people, but definitely didn't work for us. And just building on what Joe was saying about fitness and helping like make decisions. Always remember we got an early acquisition offer for Wyncode from a really big strategic, and they were really pushing us to accept it. And I'll always remember this run that I went on and just went further and further and further because I couldn't decide. And eventually coming back from that run, like just had such clarity where I was like, this is not the right thing for us. Like I'm going to call him right now and just say no. And turned out to be the best decision we made. So definitely a really powerful way
the
to help make
endorphins
decisions.
Gave you clarity.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. We were
false confidence, but it worked out.
We were clearing out old papers recently, and we actually found that term sheet from a very, very big reputable company. And it's just like amazing now all these years after to look back and be like, that was really cool, but really good we didn't take that because we ultimately like grew much bigger and did much better and like going it ourselves.
Saying no was scary though.
Saying no to such a big player was tough. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had that where I've walked away from a very large check and then 3 years later, you're like, oh man, should I have taken that? But then the trajectory is just, it's much different when it's on your own versus, building somebody else's dream, right?
Totally.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking, Marion and I have always worked together. We did residency together. I was at one point her senior resident over overnights. And then her first gig out of residency, she was with me at a company for 4 years. And then this is the first time that we've been at separate locations. But I still, when she needs help with emails or responding back to like her bosses, I'm the one who's like, I'll type this up. And she's like, well, I'm not sending that. So it's we do that walk, that's where we run into you guys all the time, the Saturday and Sunday mornings, is because that's our debrief time. Except when it's F1, it's me and my baby, like my 2-year-old. We'll watch that together in the morning, and she sort of gets to sleep in a couple more hours, and then we'll do our decompress walk. And it's definitely a reset. I try not to talk about work, but I also will let her know all of the stuff that happened all throughout the week. And sometimes it's just hard to. And you guys are the same way. There's so much going on constantly that if you try to keep people updated on a day-to-day, it's almost impossible. I'm going to ask you a couple of hard questions here. Was there a point during the Wyncode years that you hit a wall, and what did that look like?
So many walls.
Yeah. I think more like the things that come to mind for me were just like crazy challenges where we're like, we don't know how we're going to survive these things. I mean, we were an in-person educator that had to survive COVID. Like that was insane, doing those business plans and figuring out like what happens if we have to let everybody go. Like what if we're the last 2 people left? Like how can we make this happen? We need at least one instructor. I remember that being crazy. We were also the first ever code school to get a license in actually in the States anywhere. And as part of that was being in Florida and finding out that actually operating here without a license was a felony. And that was insane before we had even like gotten the business going to get this kind of information and news. And they were just like crazy things. But I think one of the things that I personally love is like, there's like a saying, like never let a great crisis like go to waste. Whenever there's something crazy happen, like it's just my favorite thing because it's like, now it's so clear what you need to do. Like it's just survive, like whatever you need to do, like now's the time to be scrappy and figure it out. And I think in a day-to-day, like, I don't want to say like sometimes get bored, but like, it's like, okay, we're making marginal improvements. Like, cool, like nice story, but like when it's something crazy, those are the things I look back on. And I'm just really proud that we survived. And in the end made those like really big things, like the licensing thing, we ended up being the first and figuring it out and getting invited to the White House. And COVID ended up, we built an online business that allowed us to scale to be way bigger. And that's how we were able to exit. Like these all had a really great end result, but at the time seemed like this is it, where it's over. How do we survive this? So I would say those were definitely the ones that come to mind for me.
Yeah, I would say we really like have a uniform kind of mindset on business challenges, which is that if there's a will, there's a way. Like, it is just that simple. And I think we always talk about the following, which is no matter what decision we make, let's make the decision and we'll make that decision successful. And so far that's served us. I mean, there's, most decisions are, you make it work. It all works out. If it doesn't, you're going to pivot and go to the next thing. And man, if you're running a business and you're the owner, like that happens on a monthly, weekly, daily basis at some stage, depending on what stage you're at in growth. And so, yeah, I think we both really thrive there. But this also makes me think, they say like entrepreneurs are a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds a whole lot of crazy sometimes. Like, I love a crisis. It's when I'm the best. Yeah.
I think that's why we get along. We all get along so well, is that we all have a little bit of crazy. I'm a little bit more extroverted than most, I think. And
in the best way.
And I try to be entertaining as possible. And sometimes I put my foot in my mouth, especially in group chats. So
our neighborhood group chat would be nothing without you.
I totally agree. Yeah.
It's the best part.
I am now also part of the HOA, so I'm moving on up in the the power triangle. So
your dream of being president is going to come true one day.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, I went from intern at BOXBOX to now, running it.
Yeah, which is amazing.
For the next year, actually, right? I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and we're not going to be posting this episode on YouTube probably till August, so we can talk about this right now. I was really honored to be part of the group that you let know what you guys are going to be finally doing. It's a dream of yours after exiting the company. It's a dream of a lot of people, actually, to do what you guys are doing. Talk a little bit about that.
I think for us, when we were building the business, like you
Yeah.
talk about those like hard times and like when things were crazy, like we always promised ourselves, we're like, hey, if we ever get through this, and something good happens, and really maybe the mentality is when we get through this,
Yeah,
and something
when
great
we get through
happens, but
this, when we sell.
it
Yeah.
didn't always seem that clear. We were like, let's take a year off and like really decompress and like figure out what we want to do. And just with the way that we sold the company, like one of us stayed on. It was Joe who stayed on with the acquirer, and I was building another startup at the time that end up taking all of my focus. And then from there, we've moved on to the roles that we have right now with the private equity backed education group that we're helping. And we just never had this gap. There was never an opportunity to do something like this. And we decided if we're ever going to do it, now's the time. And our kids are now 9 and 7. And it's just the timing is like perfect with their ages to do something. So we decided we're going to take we're not calling it a year away, but like basically a year to like be focused and figure out like what we're going to actually do next in our lives, but use it as an opportunity to bond as a family and do something really cool. So we decided on the keys and that we're going to go down there for a year. And that's why also BOXBOX is going to have a new incredible leader in yourself for the year that will be gone, but super, super excited about it. I mean, it is a dream, like you said, something we've always thought about, and just super excited to make it a reality.
Yeah. So knowing just on this thread line of like entrepreneurs being a little crazy. Yeah, it is a little crazy. We're excited. Been a dream since 2020, actually. I went back in my notes and saw that I've been like planning for this post exit.
Wow.
Kind of had this in my thoughts and we've talked about it. But we rebranded, I just want to correct, from year off to year away, because I know that it's also going to be an incubation year for us. Like we're going to give ourselves the time and space to be creative, do some exploration, learn some new skills probably. But, also it's going to help us have amazing family time and also inspire and motivate us for the next business. And so I think that's why we had to rebrand to Year Away.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
I don't
other
think
thing
we're.
that I love doing is like helping other founders and entrepreneurs, especially couple co-founders, but anybody who's building a business. So we're very lucky. We're coaching a couple of founders right now, helping them build their businesses, create structures, prepare for exit. So that's something we will be doing this year, and would love to connect with other founders that might be interested in that, because we're getting a lot of energy from doing that, and helping others has been really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either one of you would be able to turn off those brains anyway. So it's a good thing that you're continuing to work. And I think you're choosing a great place to be because you're hour and a half away from Miami, and Miami's turned into the hub of founders. So I think you'll find plenty of people that are going to require your services and help. So it's a great thing that you're doing. It's basically continuing education, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
in many ways. Yeah, for sure.
I am going to let you guys go soon because I know you have a 10 o'clock, but wanted to ask, what is Joe's superpower, Juha?
Oh,
Oh,
she's got so many superpowers, but really it's leading teams. Like I'm just constantly in awe of that. Like she is somebody who can motivate people, get them excited, get them to see a vision, and like then actually help execute and make that happen. So it's something that I've tried to learn from her over the years. And I feel like some of the skills I have now are because of watching her like up close and personal doing that. But it's a really incredible skill. And the other thing she's awesome at is just being able to do amazing like with public speaking and like talking in front of the team or events. I mean, she was the MC at the Endeavor Summit that was here in Miami was that the second or third time you did it? Like, it's so cool that you have that skill set. It just all kind of ties into being able to motivate people and get them super excited about following on the path of the vision that we have.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her speak at Emerge. I've seen her speak at a bunch of different events where I'm like, oh my God, those are the events that people want to speak at, and my friend's up there, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see. And then she's also one of those folks that I think recognizes surround yourself with intelligence, and then teach them how to do something, and let them do their job. Where Juha is a little bit of a micromanager. Juha, you want to tell them what happened this weekend?
No way.
Yeah, it was really
No
important.
way.
Well,
No way.
we did a little
I
training
don't
session
believe it.
for Hal for BOXBOX, and I decided, look, I don't have too much confidence in his skills to be able to keep this up. So I literally showed him how to fold the boxes for BOXBOX for new members. I was like, this is how it works. And he was really glad that I went to that
Okay.
detail because he's going to have a test about that pretty soon. So.
He
Actually,
walked
I'm
me
not
back
the
to our storage
micromanager, by
unit.
the way. So it's great
Show-
that this is coming.
Do you see him subtle point? Like real low.
It was hilarious because I'm standing there and he unlocks our locker at Haggerty, takes out a box and starts telling me how to put the box together. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if he knows I'm a doctor.
Well, I did. That's why I was worried. Yeah, these are practical
and then
skills.
the best part is we had an event that day and we forgot the boxes.
We did. I know.
Oh,
we both
guys.
Yeah, exactly. We should have made 2. We would have remembered.
Yeah, but I see that like that mad genius in you for sure. You're like the classic founder that has that, like, once you're in a focus mode, it's hard to turn off. And I'm the same way. Like I almost have to do things myself and then stop and say, it's okay if it's at least 75% of how I would do it. I'm okay with it. And I have to come to terms with that sometimes. And it's hard to, but that's the only way you're going to scale, right?
It's a big challenge for sure.
Yeah. I'll jump in just since we're giving everyone flowers here, but like Juha's superpower is actually, I really agree with what you said, Hal. I always call him the visionary. He has he has an ability to, especially in business, I would say, and in planning, like see things faster and further ahead than other people. He's actually my secret sauce to life. I'm always like, tell me, Oracle, what will happen? But no, I really, he's a visionary. He has like these crazy ideas that end up being phenomenal revenue drivers in business. That's been my experience. And, that trickles over to life as well, too, which is really fantastic. Sometimes the team at first is like, that's crazy. We're not doing that. And then slowly but surely we do it. I then go to work on the execution.
Well, you help him actually
and the
happen.
operations side. And then we're all like, that was an amazing idea. And so, yeah, again, great to have vision, execution together. It's been an awesome combo.
Yeah, that's Marion and I's story is very similar to that, where she early on, when we first started dating, she would say, that's a crazy idea, et cetera, et cetera. Then we got married and she tells people that Haleem has a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year, a 10 year, and a 15-year plan already in his head. And he's just executing as we're going along. And, it's great to have a partner that also will reset you and help guide, and she's very good at that as well. Otherwise, I think we'd be homeless. So
you need that.
Yeah, we definitely need that, guys. It's been an honor to have you on. I'm gonna do an outro separately, so it's a little embarrassing when I do these outros and intros. But thank you so much for being on. Seriously, I know you guys have to jump. What did you guys think?
Super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, loved it. I mean, I feel like we could have gone for another hour easily.
Yeah, this was so fun. It's always fun to do with friends.
If we do it in person, I think it's even easier because the visual cues and everything else, and you're able to just conversate rather than like look at notes and go back and stuff. So yeah, we're trying to sort of make this happen. This is the 3rd episode, and then we're chopping it up and really just hopefully Netflix or somebody picks it up, and it'll be another side project of mine.
Love it. You need more. You need more side projects.
True,
so that's
true
good.
entrepreneurial hustle.
Yeah.
One really small thing in the intro. I think that you said Blackstone instead of Brain Station.
No, Blackstone was the ones who
Blackstone cited you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the article where Blackstone, remember when we were in their meeting? Yeah, we were in their meeting.
I'm
release.
sorry, then I missed that part.
Yeah.
That is
you guys when you sold to Brain Station in 2021, Blackstone cited Wyncode as a key hiring resource for the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
true.
when I saw that, I was like, that's the intro. Like
that
was so cool.
Bang on.
Yeah,
I still remember that day.
You guys are kind of badasses. So
you're a badass.
You're a badass. Right back at you. Yeah.
That's a super
I'll see you
cool.
guys soon.
Okay.